All right. Now let's talk about the learning objectives first. You learn the trait. We'll be talking a lot about trait, about behavior, and situational approaches to leadership. Be talking models for the behavioral approaches to leadership, like the Continuum of Leadership, X employee and Y employees, and Managerial Grid. Then we proceed to go on with the situational approaches to leadership, things like that. So the principles of behavior approach theories, that is Continuum Leadership by Tannenbauer and Smith, Theory X and Theory Y by Douglas McGregor, and Managerial Grid by Mouton, and how to become a situational leader and adapting the 4 leadership styles. Okay, go on. So the company, the organization, whether you're from the private sector or from the government, you're a profit oriented kind of organization or a service oriented organization. Okay, you need to have management and supervision. You need managers and supervisor to run your business. Okay, you have to entrust all the resources to these guys for for them to be able to run your business and make the company grow and make everybody grow at the same time. So what is management? Management is organizational resources that you have to manage. You have to have controls. You have to have planning. You lead people, the human resource. And there are 4 management functions that we're going to talk about. This is the planning, leading, the organizing, and control, or the organizational goals, the common goals. If you are a profit organization, then you are going for the profit. If you are a service oriented like the LGUs, then you go for services for your constituents, for your customer. Your customer is your constituents. Then management levels. Talk about the management level. We should understand the management levels because you know there are different levels of leadership, different levels of managers, and they work together. They work as a team for the common goal of the organization. Then, most important uh, key performance is the efficiency and effectiveness. Okay, we need everybody to be efficient and effective. We need also all the resources, all the machineries, equipment to be efficient, because this is the very key or the critical resource that we need for the company to grow, right? We have to maintain, we have to plan our objectives, the smart objectives. You have to plan it. We need to have a vision. We envision the future. We envisage the future, and whatever we have in terms of our current state, okay, and the desire that we have in our future state, we need to reach the future that we want to reach, achieving our goals along the way, our objectives along the way, our smart objectives along the way. And we need to improve in between the current state and the future state. In between is the gaps, whatever gaps that there is. You have to bridge it. We have to bridge the gaps. Okay, we have to handle. That is our job as management and managers, supervisors, as leaders. Supervisor, manager, they are leaders. Team managers, team leaders, they are leaders. Line leaders, they are leaders. Superintendent, they are all leaders. CEO, COO, yeah, different management level, but different kinds of leaders, and they are all leaders. They have to work together. They have to, you know, you have to improve. They have to have improvement year on year. That's why they need to have good managers and supervisors and leaders. So I just want you to, maybe, I don't know, just give you a bit of refresher about types of organizations for us to go on with our discussions about leadership. So the type of organizations that we have is the public organizations. For example, government goals of this organization is service. They are service-oriented organization. They provide services to their constituents, like providing basic services like collecting of garbage, improving the canals, the drainage system, so that there will be no flooding during rainy season. Okay. Hang on. Okay. So they are serving their constituent in terms of any public service like health clinic. They provide health clinic for the health of the constituents, the customers. They provide security. They provide uh, traffic order. So they get people working on the traffic situations, and many other engineering also aspect of the improvement of the city or the municipality. So this is the kind of organization that they are providing services, and they must be good in providing all these services, because this is the expectation of the constituency expectations of the leaders of the government sectors. And private organizations, product companies, they manufacture products. It could be hardware, it could be software, it could be food, beverage, and other things, different things, different stuff. Okay. They are product companies, and there are also service companies. They provide service. Okay, they provide product at the same time they provide service, like the telecommunications. They provide products and services, and bunch of their responsibility is providing services. Goal of this organization is profit. This is all profit. Unlike the government, this government is they have to show that they have the capability to provide excellent service to the people. That's the goal of the public organizations. But when it comes to private organizations, all they're after is the profit. They are profit-oriented organizations. Okay? Hang on. Right. Moving on. Okay, let's talk about management. Management is the coordinating of resources. 4M. I mentioned this a little bit already. 4M, materials, machine, money, and time to reach stated and understood goals. When you join a company, the company is expecting you to provide all this management and leadership. Coordinate resources through 4 functions: planning, organizing, influencing, and controlling. When you're doing planning, you're doing daily planning, tactical planning, operational planning, or strategic planning, the long-term planning. In our previous company, we do 5-year plan, because we are profit oriented. We produce products and we sell it to the customers, to the consumers. So we are going to plan for it, because our mission or vision is to capture all the markets and be able to, produce quality products for the consumers to like it, and multiply our customers. and be able to capture some markets. So we do planning. We do strategic planning, long-term planning, because we are also looking at our capacity to produce. If our products or our customers or our sale is increasing year on year, 10% increase, 20%, 50%, even double, you need to have capacity. You need to have plant capacity. So planning is critical role, critical activity of the management. We need to plan well ahead. We need to have a capacity of the plant. Maybe the rated capacity of our machine is not enough to produce the demand of the sales, or maybe the logistics side, the transport, uh, distributing the products to the customers, supermarkets, to the depots across the Philippines. We need to plan. We need to have capacity planning. We need to strategize, and it needs leadership. It will not prosper. It will not. You will not be able to reach your goal if you are not planning well. You have to have planning managers and planning supervisors and planners. You need to have like the IPPC, inventory planning and production control, corporate planning for the entire all the SBUs, strategic business units. So you need leadership in that aspect. Then organizing, we need to organize the work, how the work is going to be done in terms of the workflow process, what is the step-by-step process, the procedures, standard operating procedures, the methodology of the work. You need to organize, and you need the people. You need to organize the people. You need to analyze the job analysis. Okay, you need to put rankings on the people. What are the ranks? Who are the people who are going to do this kind of job? Who is going to do that kind of job? Those are the people that you need to organize and need to develop at the same time. So it's very critical. And leadership, again, in this aspect of job is really very critical. Then you need to influence people to follow you. You need to influence them to follow the company policies. There are so many company policies. They need to follow the policies. They need to follow the SOPs. They need to follow the method that you are asking them to do. Influencing is leading. Leadership is influenced. So many influencers, that are failing because they're not having good leadership skills or competency in leadership. So you need to have this influencing and controlling. All the resources are entrusted to you by the organization. You need to control. You need to put a system in place. You need to put control measures in place to control in terms of pilferage, in terms of wastage. You don't want to waste all these resources from the company. The company is expecting you to control, to have controls. So all of this needs leadership. They are all leadership. Influencing deals with the human relation skills, or you can say interpersonal skills, right? So this is the soft side of the management. The leadership is the soft. It's like a soft skills. Okay, the leadership is soft skills. It's the soft side of leadership, of management. Okay, when you're a manager or supervisor or something else. So human relation skills. So what are the human relation skills? This is in terms of motivation. You have to motivate your people. You need motivation because the most important asset of the organization is the human resource, the most important. Nothing can be most important than the human resource. Most the some companies are failing, you know, they go for bankruptcy because of their leadership. They're not dealing with their people in terms of motivation. Okay, they have to motivate. There are two factors to make people the readiness level of the people to do the job. One is uh, ability to do the job, and the other is the willingness to do the job. And if they don't have motivation, then they're not going to have the willingness to do the job. Okay, then leadership also, of course. You need leaders, and because you need followers. You have followers. They're all doing their own critical jobs, the leaders and the followers. And the follower must follow the leaders, and the leaders must lead. They have to have uh, rapport. They have to have team build. They have to build the team. They have to work together to achieve the goals. No man is an army. So if you're one man, you cannot do it alone. You need people to help you out. Communication, as a leader, as a manager, you must be good in terms of your communication skills. Communicate, you'll be able to send the message across, be able to communicate effectively, efficiently, and be able to receive communications well. Also, at the same time, you're a good listener, or could be an empathic listener. So organizational climate is important. Make a good climate, a positive climate, a positive culture, especially if you're having a multicultural environment in your organization. You need to have all those. Okay? So these are the organizational resources I was talking about, the 4M plus D. These are all entrusted with you by the organization. So manpower, materials, machinery, money, and time. Okay? What are you going to do with the manpower? You have to make them effective and efficient. How are you going to do it? You have to train them. You have to develop them. You need to give them induction training. What is induction training? Role structuring. Okay, you have to explain his role. The role outline should be explained to him. What is his role? What is the core purpose of the job? What are the area of responsibility of this person? You need to explain the job description to him, the role. You need to explain the nature of the business so that he understands what we're doing as a business. You need to understand all the SOP. You need to understand all the method, the workflow process. Okay? He needs to understand everything. He needs to be trained. That's why there's an induction training. In terms of the machinery, equipment, operation, maintenance, and others, you need to train him, develop him. Put OGT in place, structured OGT, on-the-job training, a series of training, coaching, and a series of assessment, practical competency assessment. So you need to develop the manpower. You need to put a performance management in place. Okay. You need to do all this. Then materials, you need to manage materials, machinery in terms of operation, in terms of maintenance. You need to have the budget. No, you plan for your annual budget, and then time management. You need to do time management. You need to understand. You need to do your priorities. What are your priorities? Okay. So for management function is planning, knowing where we're going, problem solving, and decision making. You should be a problem solver. You need a lots of problem solving skills. You need a decision making skills also at the same time. Organizing enough 4M plus T, the resources, and coordinate with resources. Coordinate with other departments like the inbound logistics, the outbound logistics, the transport department, the engineering maintenance, utility maintenance, fleet maintenance. You need to coordinate. You know, you need to work as a team. Then influencing means supervising or leading. You need to influence people to follow whatever you have in terms of SOP, in terms of methods, in terms of the systems and procedures. And controlling and utilizing resources. That would mean reutilizing resources. So organizational goals is achieving the goals, right? There is common goals, and the goals of the company is one thing only: profit making, money making. They need to make money to make the company grow. You need to contribute for the growth of the company, because when you have a growing company, the people also will have the opportunity to grow. There will be promotions. There will be mm, salary increment, um, review of salaries, job evaluation. Changing of the ranks, of the grades of the jobs, or revisit the job, evaluating the jobs. That opportunities will come if the company is growing, the company is making profit. There will be changes in the compensation. Could be could be monetary compensation, or it could be non-monetary compensation. Benefits at the same time, the perks, the benefits will also, they will be added benefits, added remuneration. So these all are awards, rather rewards. Sorry for that. Rewards given by the company. If the company is growing, if the company is making money, so that is the job. That is your job, to contribute. You have to be a contributor. Each and everyone should be a contributor. Okay. So goals depend on the type of organization. Public organization provide the best service we can. Utilize our resources to provide the services. So these are all uh, cost. They got cost centers. They don't have profit centers. All cost centers. They're all spenders, spending money of the people. This public organization. They they plan for the year budget. Where they get all this budget? From the taxes that people pay to the government. So that is their goal, to provide services. That's all they want to do. Provide services to make people happy, to make comfortable life of the constituent. Unlike the private organization, they're maximizing profit. No, they're doing all they can. They strategize to make more money, to make more profit, and to, in the future, their vision is to buy more companies in the future, maybe, or to add more companies, uh, put up additional plants, manufacturing plants, or they decide to be a niche company, or they decide to be a diversified company. So whatever the visions they have, the leadership have, okay, they go for it by making more money. Why companies are disappearing? They're vanishing. I don't know if Nokia still exists now, but I think they already vanished. They disappear. I think because they lack leadership. unlike the Apple, Microsoft, Google, and all other fortune companies. They are all growing, all growing. Facebook, now they call Meta. Okay, so they're all growing because of the leadership. Like for example, like good leadership is um, Jack Ma of Alibaba. No, he's a good leader. Steve Jobs is already gone. Steve Jobs, but he's a good leader. He said he's not good. Actually, he said, I'm not good, but I have good leaders. So I'm surrounded by good leaders, and they work together for the organization to grow. Mm. I'm just good in selecting good leaders. That's what he said. I'm not technically sound, but I am good in recruiting leaders to work for me, to work for the organization. That's why the organization is growing. They only need good leadership of Steve Jobs. Now he selected good leaders, and these leaders are also, you know, continuing his legacy. Steve Jobs, right? And others, and other big companies. Okay. I just want to give you example of some organizational structure for your understanding in terms of leadership, in terms of management, how they do it, why they are successful, how organizational structure is really critical in your organization, and how you do it, how you organize your work in terms of the problem solving, in terms of decision making, in terms of accountability, the freedom to think, and the thinking environment, decision making, level of decision making, level of authorities. Very important that you put this into consideration when you are uh, developing your organization. An example that I want to give you is the flat structure, which we're having the CEO, then all the people of these people. There are more of this. I just give you this example, but there are more. All these people, all these leaders are reporting directly to the CEO. GM sales, direct line to the CEO. GM operations, GM for distribution and logistics, GM for marketing, GM for product development. Some company call this research and development. GM from farming, GM for HR. As you can see the line, direct line to the CEO. GM administration, GM finance, GM quality management system, and GM quality assurance, and many others. Okay. What is the advantage of this organization? I'd like to tell you that. Okay. These GMs, if they want to propose something to the CEO, because the CEO will make the decision, they have certain level of decision making. But final decision could be the CEO, especially when it comes to business, big business changes, no, big change management in terms of additional plant, in terms of additional company, uh, buying more trucks and trailers. They're costing millions of pesos. You need the approval of the CEO. This is an advantage for all the GM because what? Because they're directly reporting to the CEO. All of these guys are reporting directly to the CEO. I can just talk without even outside of the executive committee meetings. Outside of that, they will directly talk to the CEO. It could be informal talks, or it could be formal talks in his office, and ask for something, ask for propose, want to propose something rather. I propose GM sales. I propose GM that I'm going to double the demand, the forecast, sales forecast for next year, for the next 5 years. I'm going to double it. Okay. And I need this. In order for me to achieve that, I need this. So what does he mean when he said that? It means it entails cost. When you are doubling, you need more people, you need more sales rep, you need more merchandiser, you need equipment, you need road trucks, When you are proposing, you need all this. It entails cost. When the GM operations, operation is where you have the manufacturing, where you have the engineering, where you have the warehouses, the inbound, outbound warehouse. That's the GM. That's the operations. Okay, the GM sales propose this double. The GM operations says, I don't have the capacity. I need to put another plant, maybe 100 metric tons per hour capacity, rated capacity of the plant. I need to put this in place for me to be able to address the demand of the sales. Oh, CEO, I want your approval. Again, the GM distribution and logistics says, I don't have trucks. I don't have enough space for our logistics, inbound, outbound logistics. We need to double the warehouses, the space, the pallet tracking system, the automation of the, they call it ASRS, automatic storage and retrieval system. We need robot pick and place systems in place. Okay, it entails cost. It will have a capex, capital expenditures. GM marketing, we need more people to do our marketing. We need to put more ads, commercial. Marketing said, we need to put more commercial on YouTube, commercial on television, print ads. Need more money. GM product development, we need to, develop new products. We need to develop the existing products. It entails cost. GM farming also, we need to, if they're having poultry business, we need more farms. Okay, they need to buy more land for the farms. Okay, poultry or dairy manufacturing, they need more milking cows. They need more silo in the farms, pumping system in the farms. They need more tractors, equipment, etc. GM, HR need to recruit more people. We need more money. We need to buy a system, computerized system. Imagine the company that I had worked previously was having 30,000 employees. Can you imagine that across the Middle East? That's a huge, huge organization. GM admin, GM finance, etc. They all report to the CEO. It's easy to propose to the CEO. That's their advantage. What is the advantage of CEO? Nothing. Nothing. He's got this advantage. He's on the disadvantage. Why? There are so many people talking to him, giving him problems. No, not actually giving him problems to solve, because these people already solved the problems. They just want to propose it. Maybe they made a gap analysis, they made a cost and benefits analysis, etc. And then they come up with a resolution, they come up with a proposal, and they're proposing to the CEO. So CEO is just making a decision, but he still, excuse me, he still has to consider, still has to review. And he also has to have, in terms of technical know-how, a management breadth. Just because he's a CEO, he will just make decision without knowing anything about it. No, he should know so many things in terms of the technical aspects, in terms of the technology. Like, for example, GM operations is proposing technology. He has to know about the technology in terms of the automation, in terms of the distribution and logistics, saying that he needs to have a pick and place robot to improve the efficiency of the line, increase the efficiency from maybe perhaps 90% to 98, 99% efficiency. That would mean something big, increasing its efficiency like that. And the CEO would consider that. What would happen? What would happen to the CEO? That's why it's good to have a face-to-face training, no, so that I could have your reaction right away. He will burn out. The CEO will get burned out because too much pressure you put on him. You put too much things on his table, on his plate, on his table. You're putting all of these guys, and this is just minimal. There are more guys like this. More GMs in other area of operation, in other functions. You're putting too much on his table. He's pressured now. He's pressured to deliver. When it comes to uh, putting up new plans, putting up new businesses, diversifying, putting more SBU, strategic business units. CEO will not only want to decide. He will go to the board of directors. Of course, he will go to the owner of the companies. Okay. Operational decision, business decision, operational decision. Okay. He can do it finally on his side. But when it comes to buying new companies, especially if that company is worth like 10 billion, 20 billion, like Cosmos was sold to San Miguel Corporation in billions. I was there when they were doing due diligence. Okay, it's a multi-billion decision. So the CEO will go to the stockholders, the chairman of the board and the board of directors, to make the final decision whether or not they're gonna install a new company, install a new manufacturing plant, and installing a manufacturing plant will have maybe between 100 to 200 or 300 million pesos. That's the, or even 500 million pesos, or even 1 billion, no? Depending on the scale, the size of the plant. So because you're buying state-of-the-art production, how many production lines that you're going to put, like filling machines, packaging, packing machines. Maybe you put plastic manufacturing. You operate, or you manufacture your own packaging products. Okay, so it needs more money. You need partnership also. You need to get partners, business partners, to invest for you, investor to invest for you. Okay, so this is the problem with it. This is the drawback. CEO is having problems now because he's not only dealing with sales, he's also dealing with operations, he's dealing with logistics, he's dealing with marketing and development. So you see how broad the CEO in terms of technical know-how, in terms of management breadth, in terms of thinking environment, his accountability is greater. That's why he's having that kind of grade. Okay, his grade is higher, and he's receiving much higher salary because of that reason. Okay, so that is a flat structure. You decide whether you go for that structure. As far as Almara is concerned, that is the structure that we had. I'll give you uh, another structure. This is what I call layered structure. This is not actually. No. This is not. This is just coming from my imagination. Huh? I'm just giving you this just to emphasize my point. Of having a layered structure. It doesn't mean that this BP is reporting to the BP or to the EVP or the SVP, senior vice president, executive vice president, assistant vice president, etc. So what I'm just saying here is there is now a COO, especially if you're having multiple strategic business unit, SBU. You need more CEO for each is SBU. Like you're a company, food company, for example, you have a cheese business, cheese manufacturing plant, or cheese business. You're producing mozzarella, jar cheese, ball cheese, triangle cheese, all kinds of cheese. And then another company, poultry. You put another CEO, poultry business. You have dressing plant, you have contract growers, you have feed mills, etc. And then you have another company, beverage company. So another SBU. So you put another CEO there. You don't know, the CEO will not manage all this SBU. Otherwise, he'll go crazy. Okay? In layman's terms, he will go crazy. Okay? So, layered means the problem solving is delegated. The decision making, there is a certain level of decision making. Tactical decision, operational decision. Okay? So many decision making, so many problem solving, so many minds, so many brains are working together. Maybe in terms of progress, there will be delay in terms of progress of the business because there's so many layers of decision making and problem solving. So this is the layered structure. Okay. Layered structure, I give you example of layered structure in manufacturing. CEO, okay, GM operations report to CEO, divisional manufacturing managers reports to GM operations, manufacturing manager reports to divisional, senior production manager report to manufacturing manager production. So this is layer. The problem of this, the good thing about this is that you are able to solve the problems in every level. It does not have to go up the level of authorities. It may be within your area. It's already solved the problem. Okay. If the problem is not solved within the line of team leader, then it will go up to supervisor. If already solved, then it's okay. Another problem crops up, he will solve it and not able to solve it, escalated to team manager. Team manager is not able to solve it, escalate it to senior team manager. The production manager will make a decision, and he said, this is not within my level of authority. I will escalate it to senior production manager. Senior production manager will escalate to manager. So this is the layered structure. Okay, this is the layered structure. It has advantage in terms of people are working together, building a team. They are having a team effort in terms of problem solving, in terms of decision making, in terms of finding the root cause of the problem, in terms of finding the skill gaps, in terms of finding the resolution and making the recommendations, things like that. Decision making. Okay. The problem is the company is paying more money, more people working. Why? Because if you are having a huge organization, can you imagine when I said 30,000 employees and you only have one production manager, you only have one engineering manager, you'll not be able to solve the problem. For example, production manager could be 20, 30 people. Senior production manager could be 10, Manufacturing manager maybe 5, 4, 3, depending on the size of the organization. Maybe team leaders, maybe 50, 100. This is only in manufacturing. What about the farms? What about the sales? Okay. Okay, moving on. Management levels. There is what you call top management. This is president, chairman of the board, chief CEO, CFO, chief operating officer, vice president. Other companies, they also have CLO, You know what CLO is? Chief Learning Officer. Here we only have training manager, learning and development manager in the Philippines, especially in the call centers, no, outsourcing company. You have middle managers and you have low level managers like the supervisor, the foreman. These guys have to work together to, provide results, end results, profit for the company. And they are coordinating all resources. They are delegating resources, delegating jobs. So different levels of leadership. And all of these guys should have leadership and should have decision-making skills, critical thinking skills, analytical skills, lateral thinking skills, all these skills they need, and leadership in order for them to be successful. Now let's talk about efficiency and effectiveness. As I said earlier, this is the most important key performance in organization. The organization expects for its manager and supervisor to be both efficient and effective. Effectiveness means getting the job done, reaching the goal. If the people are not effective, what are you going to do? You're going to train and develop them to become effective. They have to be effective. You have to train them. You have to develop. You have to put investment in place for these guys. Maybe you need training department to do their job. Maybe you need SME, subject matter expert from the lines, to do their job in terms of coaching, facilitating, guiding, coaching, training. Okay. Efficiency, properly utilizing resources, the 4M plus T that I discussed earlier. You need to be efficient. Just 1%, 2%, 3% efficiency difference would be a big difference, big impact to organization. Like for example, let's say for example, your efficiency right now is 95%. You are able, because of the SMART objectives, you are able to increase the efficiency from 95 to 98%. That would be a big impact to the organization. If you are having a large organization, big impact in terms of money, in terms of profit, in terms of bottom line, in terms of net income, in terms of profit. Okay? Your cost will become lower. Your profit will become higher. That is the impact that is giving in terms of efficiency. Not only in terms of human efficiency, but also the machine efficiency. There is what you call OEE. That is one of the metrics, or rather KPI, key performance indicator, that you have to monitor and be able to, to increase OEE. Overall equipment effectiveness, OEE. That is part of the lean management or lean manufacturing. If you're doing lean manufacturing or lean management, you need to do that. You need to do the 5S, implement 5S Kaizen, lean management, DMAKE, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control, which is part of the Six Sigma. Sometimes using the least amount of resources is not efficient and not effective. If you're doing lean management and you're just cutting cost, and that's not good for you. You're not going anywhere. You're not growing. Because why? You need resources. That's the most of the blunder of most of the managers, leaders. They're trying to cut costs. They reduce the manpower in order for them to, they think that they will be successful in terms of lean management, lean manufacturing. They will cut cost, reduce manpower, streamline. The problem there is it affects the quality of the products or the services. Okay? If you have 20 people, you make it 10 people in one line. Or what do you think will be the impact? The quality. And the efficiency, of course. The production output will be impacted. Okay? So it's not good to cut cost. You just study which one is the right sizing, you implement right sizing, engineering method, you innovate, you improve the methodology, you improve the systems and procedure, continuous improvement, CI. That is what you're going to do. You implement the 5S, the sort out, set it in, shine, standardize and sustain. 5S, if you have attended the 5S program, okay, you need to do that. You need to analyze. You have to, if you have a recurring problem, you have to solve the problem. That is lean management. You try to solve the problem in terms of the 7 waste in manufacturing, the waste in transport, the waste in materials, more spillages, or maybe even pilferage. Spillage is also one. That is lean management. Right sizing, not reducing, not streamlining to the effect that you know, at the same time, it will also affect in terms of the motivation of the people, because they are now scared. No, they think that will be sooner or later they will also be out of the job. There is no, they are thinking of their, in terms of their security of tenure. They think they will not last forever in this company. So they're also worrying about that. And if they worry a lot and they're not enjoying their job, they don't have motivation, then it will greatly affect the output of the performance. Okay. So proper has to be defined by the manager, supervisor, and the organization. So that's why you're putting in place this manager, supervisor. These guys are the problem solver. They will solve the problem because of their management skills and their leadership skills. They will solve the problem, and will try to determine which one is proper. In terms of materials, this is proper amount of materials. This is not exceeding, and we're not shortening it. And that's what they're doing. The manager, supervisor, and their leadership. So let's now talk about what is leadership. Lead employees in an effective manner. Okay. Able to influence employees, having human relationship. The key to leadership priorities, prioritization, creating positive change. Important ingredients, integrity, self-discipline, encourage others to work better. What's leading employees in an effective manner? You yourself, you are following the policy, you are in compliance with the policy. In compliance is the SOP, in compliance with the safe system of work, in compliance with methodology, the systems and procedure. If you are certified under ISO, or you're doing independent audit, you're doing self-audit, and you're allowing external audit for the purpose of CI, continuous improvement. Okay. Effective manner is you're doing the right thing all the time. You're having self-discipline, self-confidence, self-esteem. You're delegating to the right person the job. You're not having a favoritism. You overload one employee and then you underload another employee. That's not a good thing to do. You train and develop these people. If they lack the train and development, that's also another cause of motivation problem, motivational issue. You have to train them. The employee will think, why the company is not training me? I'm not to go anywhere if I don't have training. I'm not going to grow in my career because the company is not providing career development opportunity. They don't have what you call succession planning strategy. They don't have opportunity for promotion. Okay, you have to train and develop. You have to coach. You have to explain the role. You have to explain the job description, etc. Are able to influence employees. If you're having a track record, you're having a good performance, people will believe in you. People will follow you, and you'll be able to influence them because they believe in you. You become a celebrity. Why? Because you're a performer yourself as a manager and leader. You're always putting them in the right path of your leadership, right? Having human relationship, you are good in addressing conflicts in the workplace. You're addressing multicultural behavioral issue. You're good. You're having an open door policy. You are open to suggestion, open for proposal, and you let people participate. You know, those are kind of really relationship that you have to do. So the key to leadership priorities, you have to prioritize which one is important, which one is urgent, which one is non-important, which one is not so urgent. So you prioritize. You manage your time management. Which one is the most urgent one? You have it's good to multitask, but at the same time, doing multitasking is you're only doing the starting point for everything that you do. Nothing is completed, nothing is finished. That's the problem. That's the drawback of doing a multitasking. But dual multitasking is good if you can do it. If you are able also at the same time to prioritize, you have to do your priorities. Of course, you have to put in priority your people working under you. In terms of their training, development, you put priority on it. TNA, training needs assessment, you have to put priority in it. You address the weaknesses of the employee. That's how you put the priority. Okay? Creating positive change. Positive change in terms of the behavior, in terms of the habit, working habit, all positive change. Change management in terms of the processing. Okay, you making changes on that. Yeah, doing all the kinds of training, that is also part of change management. Putting more equipment in place to address, like for example, I give you an example. People are doing manual handling, okay, doing lifting, heavy lifting of materials, maybe polybag materials in bags. They're lifting. What you do as part of your change management, you propose for buying lifting equipment, mechanical equipment, and that would be positive. Welcome to the employees who are having difficulty. Every day, 8 hours a day, they are lifting materials. What do you mean when you're doing that? You are looking at the health, safety, and welfare of your employees. Good leaders are taking care of the health, safety, and welfare of the employees. You don't want employees to experience hardships, difficulties. They have to be motivated. They have to do the job happily. They are actually enjoying their job. Important ingredient is the integrity. You as a leader, you have an integrity. Okay. When you say something, when you promise, you do it. You promise, you do it. When you put action plan in place, you don't start it, but you actually complete it. You have to complete. You convene meetings, We invite all concerned employees or stakeholders. Okay. And you finish the action plan, especially if it is related to improvement, the uh, bridging the gaps, improving the performance, improving the health and safety, especially if you have issues, incidents, accidents, injuries. You have to improve it. You have to put an action plan in place, and you involve everybody, and you let everybody participate. And there are certain area that you have to delegate to your employees. Okay, self-discipline. You, as an employee, as a manager, leader, you need to have discipline also, because the people will look up to you. Uh, you come on time, you come on meetings on time, discipline, no vices, okay, etc. Time management is very important, discipline. Encourage others. If the people feel they are not up to the challenge, they don't have the ability, they don't have the skills to do the job, no technical know-how, no knowledge, no experience, you have to give it to them and encourage them to improve. You can do the job, you can do it. You have to rely on your ability. I will give you the training, all the training you need, all the development you need. But you have to have courage. You have to have willingness to do the job. Okay? So definition of leadership is influence. Okay? So leadership is influence. How to win friends, they become your friends and they become your followers. You influence them. How to win friends and influence people. Like, for example, if you're a salesman and you're selling difficult to sell items, what you do is to win friends and then influence them. And then later on, they will buy your products because you are able to influence them. So you become an influencer. Why celebrities are the one doing endorsement of certain products? Why they're doing it? Because they are good influencer. There are many followers and they believe in that celebrity. So the popular celebrity is the one doing the influencing. Okay. And there are politicians who are good influencer. There are TV personality who are good influencer. They influence people because they are celebrity and people are following him. Whatever they say, people are following. So in organization, if you're a good leader, you become popular and everybody will follow you and you become a good influencer. So the more people you influence, the more success you will be. If the people under you are following you and they become successful, they improve their efficiency, they improve their effectiveness, they improve their performance, they will be successful. And then you as their leader will also be successful. So the key to success in an endeavor is the ability to lead others successfully. So make people successful. There are people, managers, leaders who are not sharing their knowledge, sharing their technical know-how, sharing their skills, sharing whatever they have, sharing whatever experience they gain from the past experience. They're not sharing. They think, oh, this guy will replace me. That's not good idea. You have to share because you want them to be successful. If they become successful, you will also become successful yourself as a leader, as a manager. You have to share. That is one of the most important value in the workplace, in an organization. I'll give you 6 uh, important values. Number 1, adaptable. You have to be adaptable. Number 2, sharing. You have to share your experience, share your knowledge. P, passionate. You have to be passionate with your work, with your employees. I, innovative. You have to be you have to have innovation. You have to be an innovative kind of manager. So four already. Respect. You have to respect the elders. You have to respect your co-employees. You have to respect the subordinates. You have to respect your peers, your colleagues, etc. There should be respect. Respect their ideas. Respect their proposal. Respect their suggestions for improvement. You have to think about it, whether they are workable or not. So respect. And the last one, see, number 6 that I'm going to give you as values that you need to adapt is the excellence. Okay. So adaptable, sharing, passionate, innovative, respect, and excellence. Those are 6 for me. Most important value that you should have in your organization. There are 5 levels of leadership. Okay. Okay, I'll discuss it to you one by one. Number 1 is position. Number 2, permission, production, people development, and pinnacle. This is from the bottom going up. Okay. The entry level is the position. The company is either promoting you or hiring you, and you're a new guy in the job as a new manager, you're new leader. You become a leader because you have the position. It doesn't mean that you are good in terms of leadership, in terms of human relation skills. It doesn't mean that you're really good as a leader. But the company has assigned you a position. You have a position. So the people working under you have no choice. They have no choice. They have to follow you. Although they don't want to follow you because they don't know you, they don't believe in you, they don't have trust in you, they still not sure whether you're good or not. You have not proven yourself yet. You have not given them track records of your experience. So they follow you because they have to. But deep inside, they don't want to follow you. But they have no choice. They have to follow you. Because you have the position. Whether they like it or not, you have the position. The company has given you a position as a leader, as a manager. So they have to follow you. And then the second level is permission. Now you have improved as a leader, and the follower has given you permission to follow, to lead them. You have now the permission. Now the people are following you because they want to. They have to because you have the position. And also at the same time, they want to because they know you're good now. Maybe you're in the job for the next 1 year, 2 years, and you have now proven yourself, your worth. And the people said, okay, you're okay. And we can follow you now. We're giving you now permission to lead us. That's what they do now. So the two things that very important, they follow you because they want to, and they follow you because they have to. Okay? So you're on the second level of the 5 level of leadership. The third level is production. Now you have proven yourself. You are on third level production. You're producing. You are performing. The people are following you. They have interest in you. They have trusted everything in you. They believe you. They see your track record now. They see your performance. You're having a good performance. And you are producing. You are performing. So people will follow you. They have to, and they want to. They want to follow you. Now, you go to the next level. You know, you already have an experience in terms of leadership and management. Then you want people, you'll be on the people development leadership level. You develop people, you train people, you make them leaders. Okay, coach them, mentor them. If you can, if you're a good leader, you can clone yourself to become, to produce more more leadership. Okay, you develop people, you make them grow in the company, in the organization. They become managers themselves, they become leaders themselves because of your training and development to them. Okay, so people development is a very good level for leadership. And you go to the next one is pinnacle. Pinnacle is the last and the peak one for the 5 level of leadership. The top one could be, you could be a vice president of the company, could be CEO, or a GM, general manager, or even a manager. You're in pinnacle. You are good in terms of management. You're good in terms of your planning. You're leading, organizing, and controlling the aspect of the business. Okay, you develop the people. You have concern for the people. You have concern for the job. You have concern for the business, and you're in the pinnacle now. You make decision making. You were a problem solver, and now you're making uh, top decision making. Decision making to diversify, to buy more companies, to add manufacturing plant, to capture some markets for your niche business. Okay, so pinnacle is the top one, and you want to be in that position as a leader. You got everything already as a pinnacle leader. Okay, so that would be the 5 level of leadership. Some leaders are born leaders, some are not, but they can be developed. So developing the leader within you, you have to develop the leader within you. As you go on with your work, with your work with the organization, you have to have, you have to develop your own leadership skills. Okay. Hang on, please. Okay. Greatest leadership challenge leading me. First and foremost, you have to lead yourself. Can you be led? Can you lead yourself? Do you have the discipline? You have the self-esteem? You have the confidence? You have the know-how, technical know-how? You have the ability to do all kinds of work. They have all the competencies of the supervisor or managers or leaders. Are you competent enough to be a leader? So it is easier to teach what I know than it is to live what I know. So meaning you teach leadership, but you're not living it. Okay, you're not doing it in actuality. So that's what self-discipline comes to play. Everything worthwhile is uphill. Everything worthwhile is not easy. So when you reach the goal of pinnacle, when you reach the goal of success, you have to have hardship, you have to experience difficulties. Okay? You have to be on uphill to reach there. To reach your goal, you have to have uphill. You have to be on uphill. If you want to grow in your career, to grow as an individual, to grow in terms of your personality, in terms of your leadership, you have to be on uphill. There will be many hurdles that you overcome, but you shall overcome if you have all, the positive and behavior, then you will overcome. You shall overcome. And everything worthwhile is not easy. Anything that you will get, money, in terms of fame, in terms of being a great leader. It's not easy. That's worthwhile, but it's not easy. You will go over the bumps all the time until you will get what is your what you're getting for. It's impossible to have continued success without self-discipline. You have to have self-discipline. Everything you do, put yourself in discipline. The greatest challenge is keeping people uphill. So you're not alone. You have people working for you. Okay. You have to keep them uphill also. Keeping them on uphill is very difficult. Greatest challenge. A lack of self-discipline is a lack of knowing what you want in life. You don't know you don't have vision. What are you looking in the future? Are you going to grow 5 years from now? Are you going to be a manager? Are you going to be a leader? What are you going to do? Are you going to be put up your own business? Are you going to be the CEO of the company? You have to have target. You have to have goal. You have to have goal in life. The better leader, the better people I attract. So why fortune companies are attracting more talent? You know, when you have a talent um, competition in the labor market, one company is always getting the best talent. The other company competitor is not getting the best talent. Why? Because of the leadership. They're looking at the leadership. Leadership in terms of compensation, in terms of the uh, maybe security tenure, in terms of the career opportunities, in terms of promotion, in terms of growing in that company, in terms of uh, compensation. It could be um, non-monetary or monetary compensation. So fortune companies always attract good talents from the labor market. Okay, they're the first one to get all this talent because of their leadership. Now let's now talk to approach to leadership. Leadership theories categories. There are many leadership theories, all of which is fit within three categories. The components of an effective leader. We'll talk about the trait approach first, then we'll talk about the behavior approach to leadership. Then we'll talk plus the situational approach to leadership. These are the things, these are the three approaches to leadership that we can uh, implement in ourselves as leaders. Okay. Let's go first with trait approach to leadership. So the question now I'm going to ask is, what is leadership? Which I've been asking already. Leadership theory categories and the trait approach theory. And what are traits? And what is leader's effectiveness? Very important to have an effective leader, effective leadership for to be successful, company to be successful, the organization to be successful, the individual to be successful. So leadership is about the ability to influence. I always talk about it. Influencing. That's leadership. The position or a function of a leader and the ability to lead. An act or instance of leading, guiding, direction, the leaders of a group. Ability means that leadership can be learned. Okay, it can be learned. Okay, okay. The trait approach to leadership. The theory is that the leadership effectiveness is based on certain traits. Traits in terms of age, in terms of gender, in terms of height, in terms of education. People are hiring more mature people, their age, especially in the managerial position, in the executive position, because of their technical know-how, because of their skills, because of the management breadth in terms of their problem solving skills, in terms of their analytical skills, in terms of their experience that they have gained through the years, in terms of their wisdom, decision making skills. But other companies are also hiring younger people, maybe 27, 26 years old, 28 years old, 25 years old, 24 years old, because of their, their energy. They got more energy. They are willing to learn. They are willing to improve. Okay. They are good listener. They listen. They intently listen to older people. They want to gain experience. They have interest in them. They have the keenest interest because they're young. They still have the energy. Maybe other companies are thinking, oh, the older people, they're now on the horizon. They're not interested anymore to improving the business, things like that. So that is the thinking of some organization and thinking, but in hey method of job evaluation, the US system that I have attended in terms of job evaluation, we don't put in the job description the age, we don't put in terms of the gender and height. On the education is okay. We are putting that in the job description. Why we don't put age, gender, and height? Because that would be discrimination. We are discriminating in terms of age, discriminating when we put 25 to 30 years old only. What about 31 years old? What about 24 years old? What about 32 years old? So we're putting 30 to 35 years old. What about 29 years old? What about 28 years old? Just because you are under 1 year younger, you don't qualify to the job because it's not written in the job description. In terms of gender, you have female, you are male only. What about female? Can they do the job? Or female only? What about the male? Can the male do the job? What about the third sex? Okay, the LGBTs, can they do the job? So in the job description of Hay method, we don't write, or we don't indicate in the job description in terms of age, gender, and height. Okay. About the gender, some organization are hiring female only. Why? Because maybe because of religious thing, like in the Muslim areas in Saudi Arabia, for example, they hire female, putting them in one place only, female only, and male in one place only, male only. Maybe one section like laboratory, all female are working because they are now giving opportunities for the female to work. But the only thing is they don't want to mix. They don't have to have a mixture of genders, male and female in one room. They don't want that because of the religious thing. So, but in terms of the religious thing, that's not a discrimination because it's religious, no? Conservative country or conservative companies. Okay. So that's what they do. But generally, you don't put male or female only. Height. Some companies think that if you are taller, you command leadership. You will get the people to follow you because of your height. Maybe they're scared of you because of your height, or maybe they are afraid of you because of your height, because you are tall, you're a big man. Okay, maybe in some cases, maybe, but not all the time. There are leaders who are good influencer and good leaders, like Mahatma Gandhi and other leaders like Nelson Mandela. They're not big guys. They're not tall guys. Or other guys. I forgot the others. Okay. There are leaders, especially in the Philippines. There are leaders five footer only, 5'2", 5'3", 5'4", 5'5". No, they're not tall because Filipinos are naturally not tall. Education is also good for the leadership. If especially if you have a what you call a experience, you have in qualification you need to qualify. You need experience and you need education. So if you have MBA, you have Master Science in engineering, you have PhD, of course, you have the advantage over the other. But there are certain positions we don't want PhD, we don't want master's degree. Bachelor's would be enough based on the job evaluation, based on the requirements of the job, depending on the kind of job that you're doing. Like production manager, bachelor's degree is enough. Engineering managers, bachelor's degree is enough. Transport manager, bachelor's degree is enough. Okay. But when you become a GM, general manager, you need a master's degree. Okay. Or PhD if you want. Or most of the CEO, they have PhD. So depending on the level of authorities, depending on the level of management level. Okay. So theory state leadership effectiveness is based on certain traits. Traits and leadership effectiveness, a direct correlation between traits and leadership. There is a direct correlation. Traits and leadership. Like the age, older people, they get wisdom. So it's a direct correlation. And a taller guy, maybe you command people because of your size. Could be a correlation. Leadership effectiveness has not been proven by certain traits. It's also not been proven, actually. It doesn't mean that you are younger or you are older. For example, in Japan, they have problems in terms of the baby boomers. There are more baby boomers than younger people. The generation Y, or the what do you call that? The centennial guys. There are few people now in young people. Why? Because the Japanese family, they don't have big families. In one family, only one son, one daughter, or maybe one son, one daughter, two children. They're not making, they're not producing more children. That's why there are more. That's their issue now. That's why there are more people, older people, still working. 70 years old, 75 people, 75 years old, still working. When I went to Colorado, in Denver, Colorado, in Atlanta, I went to Minneapolis. Okay. I see lots of old people working. 70, 75 years old, still working. They don't retire. They just retire for the sake of, just for the purpose of getting the lump sum retirement fee. They retire actually at 62 years old, I think. Like steward, they're old because I flew with Delta Airlines. I have observed there are more older, more than 60 years old stewardess. Okay, in the airplane. You don't see that in Philippine Airlines, in our local airlines and other ASEAN airlines. Okay, they're still working in the hotels. The old people, some old people are still working in the office, in the work, in the maintenance, on the streets. I see lots of. They don't, no prejudice. No discrimination whatsoever. In the domestic security, in the immigration, in the custom, I don't see, I see lots of older people. Okay. Okay, now let's discuss about behavioral approach to leadership. I'm going to present to you three models. Okay. The Continuum of Leadership by Tannenbauer and Smith, Theory X and Theory Y by Douglas McGregor, Managerial Grid by Blake and Moton. Theory X explains that leadership effectiveness has something to do with the leader's actions or behaviors. Categories of leadership theories. The first one that I'm going to present to you is the Continuum of Leadership by Tannenbauer and Smith. This actually was developed in the 1960s. Continuum of Leadership. Theory X and Theory Y, I think, was developed in 1958 by Douglas McGregor. Managerial Grid was also developed in 1960s. The Continuum of Leadership. Theory measures two behaviors. Number one, use of participation by employee. And then theory introduced three leadership styles: autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. Laissez-faire. Using this theory, we'll introduce four styles: tailing styles, selling, consulting, or you can say participating, and delegating styles. The continuum of leadership scale using the four tailing, selling, consulting, and delegating styles, and the use of three autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire of leadership styles. Okay, the continuum of leadership. This theory measures two behaviors: use of authority by the manager or leader, amount of participation by employee. And there are three leadership styles: autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. And four uh, leadership styles: telling, selling, and participating and delegating. Okay, in this model, the continuum of leadership, okay, as I said, there are four leadership styles: telling, selling, consulting or participating, and delegating. Then there is this area, use of authority by manager. And this area of participation by employee. Okay. And there are three leadership styles: autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. Laissez-faire is nothing. You're not doing anything anymore. You are free. You can sit down and relax. No more big effort. You're not giving effort anymore. You are relying on your employees to do the work, to do the planning, to do the management. You're relying because you have more, trained and developed employees. Okay. So if the employee is new to the company, maybe first day on the job, second day on the job, first week on the job, second week on the job, the manager is like an autocratic leadership, having an autocratic leadership. Okay. And he is using the tailing leadership styles. He's an autocratic. He used telling. What is telling? He tells his employee, this is what you do. This is These are the things that you're going to do. If you have problems, tell me. If you don't know, ask me. And this is the procedure. This is the method. And you are closely guiding him or her. You are closely, monitoring, giving instruction. And the employee has got nothing but just to follow the autocratic leadership. No question asked by no question in terms of the authority. No participation. That's autocratic and that's telling. And more use of authority by manager. Bigger authority of the manager. Okay? And area of participation by the employee is less. Here, less. Nothing. He will just follow whatever the leadership or the manager tells him to do. Just follow. No question asked. You don't do problem solving. You don't do decision making. You just follow whatever he tells you to do. That's tailing. Then as you grow with the company, you become having experience, maybe 1 month on the job, a couple of months of the job. Now, a little bit autocratic, but a little bit now democratic. The leadership will use now a little bit of democratic styles of leadership. He will sell the idea to the employee. Oh, this is what we're going to do. What do you think? Do you have any suggestions? Sir, what about we're going to do this, do that? Is it good? Okay, sir. Okay, we're going to do this, sir. Okay, good, do it. So the use of authority by managers become lesser now. Okay. What's important is able to sell the idea. And he's now a bit of decision making. The employee will now make a bit of decision making. Okay. So the use of authority will become a little bit lesser, and the area of participation will now move to become bigger, and moving to democratic, moving from telling to selling a little bit, then becomes participating. Now becomes really democratic. The employee will participate. The employee will say, okay, sir, I'll do that. I'll do this. Oh, I make a suggestion, sir. This is my suggestion. We'll attend meetings now. We'll be part of the decision making. We'll be part of the roundtable discussion. We'll be part of brainstorming or be part of the analysis or problem solving. He will now participate in problem solving. Okay? So it becomes democratic, more than democratic, and the area of participation by employee become greater. Okay? So as the employee gain more knowledge, gain more experience, and develop his skills, and become ready to accept any challenges, greatest challenge in work, more complex job, more complex responsibilities, difficulties, level of difficulties will become higher. Is ready to do the work. He understands the business well. He understands the work methodologies. He understands all the SOPs. In and out of the business. He can attend meetings. He understands what's been discussed in the meetings. He can participate in the meeting, make discussion. He can also be articulate, etc. Then the leadership, excuse me, the leadership will become Laissez Faire and will become delegating. Okay? This is the evolution of the continuum of leadership. from tailing to selling to participating to delegating. Having area of use of authority become from bigger to lesser. Area participation, employee become from less to more participation. We'll start from autocratic, become democratic, and laissez faire of leadership. Okay? So an effective leader style fits on the line between autocratic and laissez faire. So if the employee now is in the delegating more participation, are you going to be autocratic in your leadership? I don't think so. It does not fit anymore. If the employee is tailing and you're using laissez faire as if he knows everything, so the leadership will just relax and trust the employee who is still on the tailing side, then that is not the right leadership styles. It will not be effective leadership. Okay? I hope you understand this. If you don't, if you want to ask question, you chat. You write in the chat if you want. I know you're shy. You don't want to show your faces, and you want to be, to be hidden. You don't want to talk also either. So you can chat here question, and in the end of the presentation, we'll talk about it. I will answer your question. Okay. So if you don't understand, you just ask. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one would be Theory X and Theory Y. This is by Douglas McGregor. I think it was in 1958 or 1960, early 60s. Theory X and Theory Y. What's Theory X and Theory Y? Theory X and Theory Y is this is the behavior of the leadership and the behavior of the followers. And they are categorized, employees are categorized as Theory X and Theory Y, as well as managers also categorized as Theory X and Theory Y. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you how. Okay. The Theory X employees gets the job done by riding on the backs of others. The Theory Y employees gets the job done by themselves. What does it mean? It means something that the Theory X does not know the job yet. Is not ready yet to do the job, does not have the competency, does not have the ability, the skills to do the job, and does not have the willingness to do the job. That's why he relies with the Y employees. Gets the job done by riding on the backs of others. He relies with the Y employees to help him out with his job. He does not have experience, that have the knowledge, the skill, the competencies, the attitude to do the job. So he has to rely from his manager and co-employees. More reliance from his co-employees. The Y employees is experienced. He has got the skills, he's got the knowledge, he's got the competency to do the job. He's competent, he's experienced, he's veteran. Been in the job for maybe a couple of years or maybe 5 years, already a veteran. Just like a basketball in your team, you're a new player, first year on the team, you're a rookie, and you are not being relied by the coach yet. Oh, you're not even starting the first 5. So you have to develop, and then when you show something that you have improved, and then you show many skills, then that's the time you become a Y employee. It's like this one. He knows everything now. He gained knowledge, gain experience. He got skills already, developed the skills or the skill sets required to do the job. He's already have it. So become Y employees. Now, okay. How do you want the leadership to be effective in this, you have to identify which among your employee complement are ex-employees. You have to identify which among your employees are Y employees in order for you to be effective, an effective leader. Okay? How many ex-employees are there in your team? Let's say, for example, you're having 100 employee, 90 people are ex-employees, don't have experience, don't have competency, don't have attitude, don't have skills, don't have ability. This is a big problem because there are only 10 people as Y employees that can be delegated, that can be relied upon. Okay? So the more ex-employees you have, the more you have in terms of your problem. So you have, what are you going to do if you have more ex-employees? You have to train, you have to develop them, put them in the, on the job training to develop more competency, practical competency assessment, so that he will be developed. Mentoring, coaching, reviewing the performance, under the performance management. You look at the weaknesses, then you put a TNA in place, training needs assessment, put them in training and development for them to evolve into Y employees. Now you're having more Y employees than X, then you're solving your problems. Okay? You're solving your problems because you have now, maybe majority of your employees are having Y. Minority is the ex-employees. Then that would be good for your team because you have more Y employees that you can delegate more of the jobs to the Y employees. And the X, maybe now 10 people against 90 of the Y employees. Then you can train these remaining guys and develop them to become 100% Y employees. And you will have a leadership effectiveness. If you still have ex-employees, then you have to provide him the telling styles, the telling or selling styles. For the Y employees, this would be participating and delegating styles. The ex-employees, telling and selling, leadership. If you do that, then train and develop, then you do that, your leadership will be effective. Okay? You have to understand that not all people are the same. There are slow learner and there are fast learner. You have to have patience as leader. You have to have patience. You have to develop, coaching skills to coach these guys, to mentor these guys, to develop, to evolve from X to Y employees. Okay? So this is what you have in terms of the X employees and the Y employees. I hope you understand that. Theory X assumptions and theory Y assumptions. You have to assume that there are more X-employees or there are more Y employees. If there are more X-employees, you have to adjust your leadership style to be more effective. You have to work hard to develop these employees. Here, you have to have what you call zap alone. What is zap alone? You leave them alone. Do their thing, do their job. They know what to do. If you are putting, telling, and selling leadership styles here, these guys will be upset because they know their job. Why are you still guiding them? Why are you still telling them? They know their jobs. Easy. You only zap them when you're not doing job, when they're failing to do it. Despite the fact that they are really good, but they are doing lots of errors, failures, then you zap them. But in the first instance, you leave them alone. Okay? So that's the assumptions. Leadership effectiveness with regards to theory X and theory Y means matching a theory X in thinking manager with a theory X employee. You have to match this to be effective. Matching a theory Y thinking manager with a theory Y employees. Because as a theory Y thinking manager, you are a laissez faire. You leave him alone, do your job, do your thing. I'll just look at the result. Those are the things that I'm expecting from you. Just the result. I don't want to see how you do it. What is the procedure that you have implemented? What is the method that you have implemented? I don't have concern about that. My concern is the result. Show me the result. Okay? And I will give you a tap on the back. Okay, for recognition, for a well job done. So that is a theory Y thinking manager with a theory Y employees. Okay, let's now go to the managerial grid. I hope you understand the theory X, theory Y. Clear to you the continuum of leadership and the theory X and theory Y. Now let's go to managerial grid. This theory looks at two behaviors. Okay. Concern the manager has for getting the job done. This is the X-axis of the grid, which I'm going to show you later. Going to show you next. The next one is concern the manager has for his employees. This is the Y-axis of the grid. Okay. Nine degrees of both concerns. One being a low concern and 9 being a high concern. So the scale would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 being the lowest concern and 9 being the highest concern. So the managerial grid model, concern for employees and concern for the job. Okay. So this is the managerial grid. X-axis is concern for the job. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 scale. 9 is the highest. And concern for employee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the Y-axis. Okay. So box number 1 is the task manager. Task manager is 9, 1. X-axis is 9. Y-axis is 1. Okay, right here in this box, in this grid. Okay. High concern for the job and low concern for the employee. Okay. That is task manager. I would call that task manager. Okay. The second one, box 2, is the country club manager. Okay. What is a country club manager? This is 1, 9. The axis is 1. Low concern for the job, number 1. And high concern for the employee, 9. Right here, 9. So 1, 9. Okay. Next box is impoverished manager, 1, 1. low concern for job, and low concern for employee, 1-1 right here. I'll explain that to you later. The box 4 is middle of the road manager, 5-5. Balancing in the middle, 5, and concern for employee in the middle, 5. And the box number 5 is team manager, 9-9. High concern for the job and high concern for the employee. Which one you would like to be? Box 1, box 2, task manager, country club manager, task manager, 9-1, country club manager, 1-9, impoverished manager, 1-1, middle of the road manager, 5-5, or team manager, 9-9. Of course, you would say the perfect one, team manager, correct? But can everybody be like that? Can everybody be like that? I don't think so. Nobody is perfect. Nobody can be like that. Maybe just one or couple of guys can be like that in the organization. But not everybody. Especially if you don't have the authority. You are not delegated of that authority to be like that, then you cannot be like that. Okay? So this is the managerial grid styles. Okay? 9-1, 1-9, 1-1, 5-5, 9-9. So let's talk about the impoverished manager first, because this is the most important, interesting fellow. Low concern for both the job and employee, 1-1. Remember that? Sometimes happens when a manager is getting ready to retire and does not care about the organization. Okay. Maybe this is an old fellow, an old guy. Been a manager for a long time, maybe 30 years or more. Been in the job for quite some time. Been in different situation. Been in different organization maybe. Does not care anymore what will happen because he does not have the future anymore. He's up for retirement. Does not have concern for the job. No continuous improvement, no innovation. Okay. No objectives, smart objectives. You know the SMART? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound objectives. No more like that. He does not concern for employee anymore. He does not develop, does not train his employees, does not put them in career path, career development, not interested in putting them into succession planning. He's just waiting, hanging on for the retirement. Maybe next year, maybe in 6 months, or maybe in a couple of months. Okay. So this style is detrimental to a successful organization. Why? He is not contributing anymore to the success of the organization or success of employee. He is useless, in short, useless. If I am the boss of this employee, of this manager, I am the manager of this manager, then I will retire him right away, right now. I don't have to wait for 1 year. I don't have to wait for 6 months to retire him. I want to retire him now. I want to get rid of him already because this style is detrimental to successful organization. It's not concerned for job, it's not concerned for employees. So what do you expect? You expect nothing from him. Okay. So that is the impoverished manager. The task manager is high concern for getting the job done and low concern for his or her employees. The employees are looked upon as a tools, uses employees to get the job done. He's only using the employee, but he's not concerned for the employee. No, he's not thinking about the promotion of employee. It's not thinking about the development of employee, the training of employee, promotion of employee. No concern at all. His concern is only the production, the maintenance, the logistics, only the job, only the job. No concern for employees. Okay. Number 9 and number 1, 9-1. Country club manager, high concern for employees, does not really care about getting the work done. Could be due to many Churiwai employees. It's like a Laissez Faire. Remember Laissez Faire? Too many Churiwai employees, too many employees you can rely upon. Then delegate everything to them. Then you don't have to do anything. This is the country club manager. Number 9, rather number 1, for concern for job, and number 9, 1-9, concern for employee. Middle of the road manager, this is in the middle, probably a young manager. Balance is a concern for employees with concern for the job. The manager is firm but fair. A young manager. He wants to prove something. He wants to learn something. He's very keen on improvement. He's very keen on development. Development for the job, development for the people. So it's really balancing it. And the team manager, maximum concern for both employees and the job. According to the managerial grid theory, we should all strive to achieve a 9-9 status. This is like the general manager. It could be a HR manager, but most of the time HR manager are like more concerned for people rather than the job. Yeah, like that one. Human resource manager, more concerned for employee rather than the job. Okay. And the task manager or the 9-1, more concerned for the job rather and low concern for the employee, is the production manager. One classic example. He wants to produce. He does not care the welfare, the health and safety of his employees. But nowadays we're changing the mindset of the production manager. We're telling them you have to have concern of the employee as well. But you cannot avoid the fact that the production manager are really 9-1 in terms of the managerial grid. Okay? So the 9-9 is the general manager. And you know the other one, total disaster. This is the impoverished manager, 1-1. Okay? You understand now the managerial grid? So more or less, you know now how to select the best leadership by doing this model, by implementing this level. So which one you like most? Is it the continuum of leadership? Is it the theory X and theory Y? Or is it the managerial? Me personally, my opinion, I like the theory X and theory Y. But continuum and this managerial grid are also good. Okay, you can also, it is also good. It's just my opinion. I like it more, theory X and theory Y. Because from the, from the training manager perspective, I would like to train and develop. And by looking at the theory X and theory Y, more weaknesses in theory X, then I know what to do. Train and develop those guys. Okay? So these are the behavior theories considerations. These theories try to explain that leadership effectiveness has something to do with the leader's actions or behaviors. It is something to do with the action, whatever it is, or the behavior of the leadership or the managers. You want to be effective leadership, then choose the right leadership behavior that you want. Approach. Leadership behavior approach. Okay? that you want to implement. So you know where to go, right? So if you have new employees, you go for telling. If you have uh, a little bit of more improved employees, you go for telling. Really good now employees participating, and really good employees, you go for delegating. You you use the use of authority of the manager become lesser to delegating, and the participation of employees from less to more participation when it comes to delegating, and use the autocratic, democratic, and laissez faire of leadership. Okay, you remember that? Okay, I hope so. So look at successful leaders and see what they do to be successful. Try to benchmark what type of leadership that all successful organizations are doing for them to become successful in terms of the leadership. The Theory X and Theory Y by Douglas McGregor, The Continuum of Leadership by Tannenbauer and Smith, and the Managerial Grid by Blake and Moulton. Actually, this is Moulton, not Moulton. I made a mistake here. Typing error. Okay, now let's go to situational approach to leadership. Premises and principles. The life cycle theory of leadership. What are they? Task behavior. What are behavior in the work? Okay, the task behavior. Relationship behavior. Relationship among employees. Remember, you will talk about the human relation skills. Employee readiness level. There are two factors in this: the willingness to do the job and the ability to do the job. When the employee is new, he is not ready yet. You have to be patient as leader, as manager. You have to be patient. You have to have patience. Train and develop him to become ready next time. Make him ready. So we'll talk about that. And leadership style, telling style, selling style, participating style, and delegating style. So premises and principles, variety of leadership styles to choose from. X and Y, managerial grid. Okay. No single style is best for all situations. Meaning, not one single style is effective to all kinds of leadership requirement. We have to make changes. You have to be adaptable. You have to be flexible as leader. You cannot be just like, straight, looking straight. You have to look laterally. You have to have lateral vision at the same time. All you have to have 360 degrees vision, not just forward vision. You have to look to the side. You have to look to the rear. You have to look to the overhead. You have to have vision and everything. Because not one style is applicable to all style. All kinds of employees. All types of employees. Okay? So no single style is best for all situations. Different leadership styles are appropriate for different circumstances. So different circumstances. That's why we call this situational approach to leadership. Different circumstances. One circumstance needs this kinds of leadership. Another circumstance needs this kinds of leadership. So different circumstances. You need to be empathic leaders. You can be empathic leaders. You listen. You feel the feelings of another person, especially your subordinates. You have an open arm. You accept whatever suggestion or whatever proposal that he has to make. You have to analyze it, whether it's workable or feasible or not. Then you have to respect the ideas of everybody. So different circumstances. There are employees who are very low. uh, does not know anything yet, you have to be patient with those guys. Choosing the right, choosing the appropriate style is more likely to cause leadership effectiveness. Okay. So whenever you select the right appropriate style, you will have leadership effectiveness. More likely to cause leadership effectiveness. If you are not doing the right thing depending on situation, you will not be able to become, you be successful and become an effective leader. You have to have the right style for implementation for your application to become an effective leader. Best leadership styles depends on the type of job or the task itself. The leader/member relationship. The leader's position, power in the organization. The skill of the leader to change styles. Oh, flexibility. I was talking about like flexibility. Maturity, readiness of the employee. The type of job or the task itself, like different approaches like laborer, cleaner, team leader, team manager, laboratory technicians, logistics supervisor, or manager, supervisor, superintendent. Different tasks. Oh, different approaches to guys who are doing work, manual handling work, uh, difficult work. For technicians who are doing uh, troubleshooting of machinery not working, different styles that you're going to apply. If the employee is having issues, behavioral issues like absenteeism issue, different style approach leadership. It's always making absences, not coming to work. What is the leadership style that you're going to do? Of course, you go back to telling and selling styles. You have to mentor, you have to urge to improve, you have to have feedback, communication feedback, performance appraisal feedback. Oh, I'm not happy with you. You are not performing. This is what we're going to do. We have to have you improve. Things like that, no? Urging the employee to improve, not shouting, not yelling, not pressuring more. You have to motivate, there's so many things you can do depending on the task or the job of the employee. The reason why he's having absenteeism or you are experiencing more absenteeism, maybe the employees are not happy anymore. They're not motivated anymore. You have to find something, maybe in terms of recognition, maybe in terms of incentivizing incentives, incentivizing the people, giving incentives, maybe recognition, certificate of recognition, tapping on the back, praising on the public. If you want to scold in private, things like that. These are the kind of leadership that you want to implement in order for you to be effective leader. The leader-member relationship, very important. If the leader-member are not communicating, there is no communication in between, no channel of communication. This is problem. Okay? They're not talking. They're not addressing the conflict. Okay? Leader and member relationship. You have to improve the leadership member leadership in order for you to be an effective leader. The leader's position, power in the organization. So if the leader is a higher position, you have to adjust your leadership. If the position is lower, entry level position, then you have to make adjustment also. If the position is like supervisor, team leader, team manager, senior team manager, production manager, senior production manager, then you have to adjust your leadership really, depending on the position and the power in the organization. The skill of the leader to change styles from telling to selling to participating to delegating, from autocratic to democratic to laissez faire. You have to adjust, make adjustment, and also something to do with the maturity and readiness of the employee. You'll be successful if you know the readiness level of the employee. If you don't, then you are bound to fail. There will be failures in your leadership. Okay, so now let's talk about maturity, capability, readiness level of the employee. There are two components. One is willingness of the employee to do the job. If the employee is well motivated, he's got the motivation, there would be internal motivation, external motivation. Internal is like intrinsic, no? Intrinsic motivation. Internal motivation, like recognition, tapping on the back. External is like the reward, like the compensation, the remuneration. So if you are motivated, then you are most willing to do the job. You have enthusiasm and commitment. You are committed to the work. You're happy. You enjoy your job. Okay. So you have the willingness. The other one is the ability of the employee to do the job. Ability means skills. Can you do the job? Do you have the skills to do the job? Do they have the knowledge and skill to complete the job? If you have willingness, ability, then you have the maturity. Then you are most ready to do the job. The type of job or the task itself, these are all. The leader-member relationship, the leader's position, the skill of leader change style, the maturity readiness of employees. These are the life cycle theory of leadership. I just repeat it for really absorbing it in our mind for the retention purpose. So again, the life cycle theory of leadership, the type of job or the task itself, or the task behavior, the leader-member relationship or the relationship behavior, the readiness level of the employee. This is the life cycle theory of leadership. So let's talk about the task behavior. Role structuring. Is it important? Yes, important. Very critical. Role structuring, laying out the work and the job for the employee. When you meet the employee on his first day, the employee is most anxious. He's got anxiety. He's afraid. He's a little bit scared. What is this? This is a big company. Maybe I will not be able to do my job here. Maybe I don't have the right attitude and skills. Do I have the capability, the ability to do the job here? Maybe I don't have the competency. So he's afraid, most anxious. So what the management is doing, the training department is doing, making him at ease. Oh, get rid of his anxieties. By what? By putting in place the onboarding procedure, the induction training. Okay. First thing first, he has to be introduced in terms of the business, nature of business of the company. What are the products that we are producing? What are the services that we are rendering? What are the who are the employees? Who are the senior employees? What is the processing, the workflow process? Explain to him all the SOP, standard operating procedures, different section, different departments, okay, acquaintances, rubbing elbows with other employees, things like that. That is part of induction training. Explaining to him the job description. What is the core purpose of this job? What is the areas of responsibility? Okay. What is the role specific job specifications? What are the qualifications required of this job? Key relationship of this job? Competencies of this job? You have to explain everything to him. That's role structuring. So that he will know what are the things expected of him as a new employee. And you have to explain to him the training that he has to undergo. Maybe on the job training and development that he has to undergo. Laying out the work, the workflow process, the procedure, the safe system of work, okay, everything. That's role structuring. Then part of the task behavior. And the other one is control. You have to have control, the amount of control we exert over the employee by setting standards. You have to set the standard. This is the standard that you're going to meet, or this is the standard that you're going to exceed in meeting. So you know the standards. So that will be the basis in terms of performance management. When you are being appraised after 6 months or after 1 year, you know already what is expected of you as employee of this organization, because you know the standard set and you understood. All of this, you need to have the UAO. What is UAO? After explaining to you the role structuring and control, you have the UAO. What is you? Understand. You understood everything. What is A? Acceptance. You accept the setting of standards. You accept the job description, the role structuring. You accept all the standard operating procedure, all the documentation, the method, the workflow process. You accept. There would be acceptance from your side. You accept the expectations. You understood and you accept. Understanding and acceptance. What is O? Ownership. You have to own them. You have to own everything that is provided to you. Because if you own them, you will work for it. You will work on it to improve it, to improve your performance. For you to be guided in your work, you need to have UAO. Understanding, acceptance, and ownership. So setting standards, monitoring their performance under the performance management or Performance appraisal. Those are the things where you're going to see the strengths and the weaknesses of the employee from the performance appraisal. Okay. Then you're going to have feedback. Then you're going to be honest and frank with your employee. And you have to feedback the things that he has to improve. And you put in place action plan for the corrective action for the weaknesses of your employee, training and development, coaching, mentoring, and other strategy. Monitor the performance. Weaknesses are most important. For the strength, you have to reinforce, maybe through remuneration, rewards, through incentives, through promotion, or through salary increment, etc. You can also do that actually in SWOT analysis. Is WOT, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You can also do that monitoring of the weaknesses and addressing it. But the SWOT is all company-wide because you have the threats and opportunities also. External thing that you have to analyze in terms of competitors, competition, in terms of market competition, etc. That is opportunities and threats. Improvement of the business, adding more plants, buying more companies, etc. That is opportunities and threats. There are more competition now, and the market has become saturated, and all those things in this SWOT. But you can also do that, utilize that. But in terms of monitoring performance, you can do the performance appraisal. Let the training manager design the performance appraisal. The manager has the tools to have the continuous improvement in terms of the performance appraisal. Okay. Then taking corrective action. Whatever you have to improve, corrective action, put action plan in place. This is for the purpose of continuous improvement. You don't want to get rid of the guy, terminate his services from the company, or suspend him for low performance. You want to improve his performance. That's why you are taking corrective action. Okay? That's a good way of doing. In terms of control, the amount control the leadership exert over the employee by doing all this. You understand? I hope you understand that. Okay. Continue. Okay, let's talk about relationship behavior. Amount of positive reinforcement. Okay. When you're talking to your people, you talk to him that he's doing a good performance. Keep up the good work. Give incentives if you can. If you have this in your budget, urge him to do well. Positive reinforcement. Improvement. He has to improve. He has to be trained and developed. You have to have action plan in place so that there will be improvement. Socio-emotional support like trust, respect, and encouragement. You encourage your employees. Participating in decision making. Participation in decisions. Especially if the employee has been in the job for quite some time now, he can participate in the decision, in the problem solving, in the decision making. Okay. In the analysis, amount of authority we delegate. Authority is the right to act, decide, and or command. Delegated from organization the resources. Okay. Those are the amount of authority we delegate to employees. Now let's talk about readiness, employee. Employee readiness level. This is a key component in the life cycle theory. If you want to succeed as leader, you need to have your employee ready to take on some challenges in the workplace. Okay? So, this is a key component in the life cycle theory. Auto referred to this component as maturity, capability, or developmental level of the employee. So the employee will start from 0 to 1 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8. Development, this is what you call development. As the employee will develop, the employee will become matured, will get maturity, will gain experience, will gain knowledge, will gain capability. Develop, become a on the top of the readiness level of the employee. Okay. Employee's willingness to do the job, employee's ability to do the job. That is the readiness level of the employee. Employee's willingness and employee's ability. And this will be developed. For a period of time, you will develop them to have these two factors. If you don't train and develop them, they will not become mature. And they will not get the readiness level of the employee. Okay? So willingness means employees' commitment and enthusiasm and motivation level. Okay? Ability is employees' knowledge and skill. So these are the things that you're going to get to give, to provide to employees. There are 4 degrees of leadership readiness level of employee. You have to go through this degree of readiness level. If you want your employee to become Y employee, remember the Y employee of Douglas McGregor? If you want them to become a Y employee, then you have to have, or the delegating employee, Laissez Faire. Then you have to go through this process. Okay? Readiness level number 1, R1. Low willingness and low ability. The next one, R2. Some willingness and some ability. Okay. So, R2 has been developed from R1. Become R2. He has already attained some willingness and some ability, some skills, some capability already attained. Where did he get it? He get it from regular training and development. Training is different from development. Training is one time only, like you do it in classroom or you do it on the job. That's training. Maybe 8 hours, maybe 16 hours, or even 40 hours training. Getting the knowledge or even skills on one topic, one area of study. The development is over a period of time. Okay, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe even 1 year. You're going to develop a person to become a supervisor. He needs development. Maybe a series of practical competency assessment. a guy, let's say a machine operator, you want to put him in a machine like a filling machine. A state-of-the-art machine needs 3 months to train. So you put him on the job training 3 months, develop him to become an operator. That's development. And series of practical assessment. Maybe 3 times is going to be assessed, or 4 times or 5 times. And 6 times maybe is the final assessment until he get everything. The digital portion of the training, the mechanical portion of the training, the electrical portion of the training, etc. So training and development combination when you put OGT, on the job training. Okay? So he became R2. Some willingness and some ability. Okay? This is gain from the training. Then become R3. More willingness and more ability now. He has gained experience. He's been taught how to do everything, been trained, been developed, become R3. Maybe this guy is already 1 year on the job. Maybe 2 years on the job. Even 6 months, depending on the person, how fast he learns many things. Okay? The soft skills, the hard skills, everything. The last one, R4, is the high willingness and high ability. This is the portion. This is the maturity or the readiness level of employee that you are going to delegate. The R3 is you're going to let him participate. The R2 is where you're going to let him sail on the sailing styles of leadership. The R1 is the tailing styles of leadership. But on the R2, it will become a delegating style of leadership or the Laissez Faire when you talk about continuum of leadership. Okay? So, to develop, train and develop an employee, need him to begin on R1. Induction training, on the job training, meeting people, knowing the business, etc. That's R1. Telling what to do. Okay. Then he will become R2. Oh. Okay. Then again, continuous training and development, R3. And also gaining experience while doing his job. While doing his job, he's been given training and development. Then will become R4. Okay. Because you like him, maybe 1 year on the job, 2 years on the job, 3 years on the job. You like him very much. You as his manager. And there will be opportunity now to promote. So because you like him so much and he's giving good performance, and then you promote him as supervisor. Is he going to stay in the R4 because he's already a supervisor? I don't think so. Maybe, but that is rare. That seldom occur. He will go back to R1 as supervisor, R1 supervisor. Then again, he will develop as a supervisor, R1, R2, R3, R4 supervisor. But R4 as maybe technician or operator, and you want to promote him as supervisor because he got all the qualification, he's got all the experience now. He proved it through performance, through his performance. Then you promote him to supervisor, then he will become R1. Okay? I hope you understand that. Okay. So in terms of telling, selling, participating, and delegating. You utilize the R1 leadership. You utilize the telling for R1 rather employees, for R1 employee. For selling, for R2, you utilize selling. Okay. For R3, you utilize participating leadership. And for R4, delegating. He's an expert. He is now SME even, subject matter expert. He can deliver training also to other employees, on-the-job training. Because not all training are being provided by the training department. It can also be provided by the SMEs of every department. Like in manufacturing, there are SMEs. New employees coming in, they will deliver the training on the job. They can do assessment, they can do training, they can coach, they can mentor. Okay? So you have to know the appropriate leadership styles for you to be effective leader. Telling style, task-oriented, guiding, directing, establishing, requires high task and low relationship. You use that with R1 employee. The selling style, high task, high relationship between leader and member. Compliment, give feedback to a good job, to well job done. For a job well done. Task-oriented but complementary. Okay. He can do anything, but with still the guidance and assistance, still on selling style, complementary of the leadership. Explaining, clarifying, persuading. You have to sell the procedure, your ideas, and use with R2 employees. Participating style, low task, high relationship, use with R3 employees. Participating, encouraging, collaborating, and committing. He can attend meetings, he can participate in decision making, participate in problem solving, troubleshooting, doing root cause analysis, asking question 5 whys, maybe fault tree analysis, maybe cause and effects analysis, or the fishbone analysis, FMEA analysis, failure mode, and effects analysis, FMEA, or doing DMake of the Six Sigma, or PDCA. PDCA, plan, do, act, check, and act. Okay, low task, delegating style, low task, low relationship. This is zap alone. Leadership, intrinsic rewards, meaning more recognition, patting on the back, intrinsic, those are intrinsic, not extrinsic. Delegating, observing, monitoring, fulfilling. Employee receives motivation, reinforcement from the accomplishment of the job well done. Okay. Okay, concentrate here. This is the model that we have. This is a bell curve. This is the curve, learning curve. Bell curve. Okay. Number 1 is telling, high task, low relationship. Provide specific instruction and closely supervise performance. Okay. This is a leader mode decision maker telling. The leader is the one doing the decision making, not the employee, because this is all telling. Then let's go to number 2. Number 2, style. Explain, the decisions and providing opportunity for clarification. This is high task and low relationship. This is leader mode decision with dialogue and or explanation. You're selling ideas. Then the curve is going up and going down. Share ideas and facilitate in decision making. This is high relationship and low task. This is a leader follower mode decision or follower mode decision with encouragement from leader. The leaders is only doing encouragement. And we go to the last four style, which is delegating. Turn over responsibility for decisions and implementation. This is complete empowerment, entrusting everything to the employee. This is follower mode decision. He is now doing his own decision. On the x-axis, task behavior guidance, high and low. 2-4 is high, 3-2-1 is high, 3-4 is low. And the y-axis is relationship behavior. Supportive behavior, this is high, 3-2, and low, 4-1. Okay, relationship behavior. So you have to know or choosing the right leadership styles and the leader behavior styles. Okay, follower readiness, R1 low, R2 moderate, R3 moderate, R4 high. Now, R1 unable, unwilling to insecure, R2 unable but willing or confident, R3 able but unwilling or insecure, R4 is able, unwilling or confident. So this is follower directed, R4, R3. And R1, R2, this is leader directed, telling and selling. This is follower directed. The decision making is the follower, R3, R4, or participating and delegating. Okay, continue. So choosing the right style, style 1, style 2, style 3, style 4. Okay, leader behavior variables. These are all leader behavior variables. Okay, let's go to task, role structuring. We discussed earlier, no? Control, set standards, monitor performance, take corrective action. For style 1, great deal for the role structuring and control. Style 2, some. This is high, role 1 is, style 1 rather is high task, low relationship. Style 2, high task, high relationship, some, and great deal. Okay. For style 3, low task, high relationship, little of the role structuring, and some for the control. Okay. Style 4, low relationship and low task. Both relationship and task are low. So very little and role structuring and some for control. Relationship, positive reinforcement, little, great deal, some, little. Socio-emotional support, trust and respect, encouragement. Great deal to some, great deal to little, some to little, some to little. You can actually review this on your handout. I have given this to you already, but I'm just discussing it to emphasize. Okay, participation in decisions for style 1, very little. Okay, little, great deal, and little. Style 4. Development level of employee. Okay, R1, R2, R3, R4. Development 1, 2, 3, 4. This is shape, style, label, telling. This is task-oriented, selling, participating, and delegating. Okay. Becoming a situational leader. Adopting leadership styles, promoting employees, theory X and theory Y employees, and burn out employees. This is the thing that you have to avoid. Otherwise, you're going to have more turnover of employees. And that's going to be a big problem for you if you have a turnover of employees. So, situational leadership, 4 levels of leadership. Leadership effectiveness, using the style that matches the readiness level of the employee. New supervisors start with telling style and move towards delegating style. Small business managers may want to use a telling or selling style due to time constraint. This is okay. Okay, continue. This is okay for new small business. They can do telling or selling anytime. Because why? Because they have small manpower complement. Maybe 5 people, 10 people, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Easy to do it. If you have 1,000 employees, 2,000 employees, you have to delegate. You have to have other guys who's going to be delegated with all managing the resources. You need participating and delegating. For small business, micro business, telling and selling style is okay. Due to time constraints, you need to, to make money. The business is small. You have very small, what do you call, small resources that you want to manage. Okay. You have to, you have a little time constraints to do it because you have a very limited resources. You have to maximize your profit. So you have to optimize your resources. Okay? Optimize resources to maximize profit because the business is micro. You can use telling or selling. Okay? Understood? Promoting employees, don't assume a level 4 employee will become a level 4 supervisor. When promoting an employee is an R4, they become R1 or R2 in new position. Go from delegating style to selling or telling style. So theory X and theory Y employees, you know already what is theory X employees and theory Y employees, right? So theory X employees, telling style R1, selling style R2 for theory X. For theory Y employee, participating style R3 or delegating style R4. For burnout employees, because of lack of management or supervisor skills, always conflict with supervisor or manager, always an argument, always have differences, irreconcilable differences, giving more workload, more pressured, no rest, no break time, no breaks. Okay. Favoritism, no opportunities for training and development, no opportunities for career development, no opportunities for succession planning. So many adverse conditions in the workplace, multicultural environment, behavioral issues there. Of course, the employee will burn out. If the employee in burnout change from participating or delegating to telling or selling style, you have to have mentoring, encouragement, counseling. You have to really give guidance, mentor, guidance, coaching. So go back to telling or selling style.